Honorable, you know, Senator Brown said, why would the Prime Minister be so clear, pellucidly clear, to say to the world that I am not going to talk to CARICOM? Everybody for themselves. I mean, that can't be the case. We know that, let's take, for example, COVID that we have had recently, or if even we go back to Grenada. I mean, Trinidad and Tobago has always been clear on what our position is. But we understand that we have always been a zone of peace. And yes, the Prime Minister speaks about narcotics, but zone of peace means that there is no war. That is what we're speaking about. That, there's a big difference. And we are not, as an opposition, disputing the fact that we are not concerned about drug cartels and the influence from Colombia and Latin America. We are very clear that that has always been an issue, and we support activities to address those issues. But when you see the list of machinery and the kind of forces that are heading to the Caribbean, it must be a source of concern. And we certainly urge the Honorable Prime Minister to remember the importance of CARICOM. Because at the UN, and virtually for any issue that comes up, we must remember the significance of our brothers and sisters.
Do you think that the population should be concerned, considering the close proximity of Venezuela and Guyana to us, and the nature of the types of artillery coming into the region? Should we?
Well, of course we should be concerned. I mean, the thing is that even as Ukraine is that far, right, or several wars that have been far, I mean, we look at the consequences of that, right? So we understand that, you know, what has, even without a war existing in Latin America and Caribbean countries, in Venezuela, we have seen what has happened, the challenges that occur, so that you will already see in the public domain that the public is concerned. And as an opposition, we are absolutely concerned about the response of the government, and we look forward to a message. Well, let me put it differently. We look forward to the Honorable Prime Minister making herself available to the press, just as I'm making myself available to the press, to be questioned and to say to the public. In other words, within recent times, we have seen a development where the Prime Minister is issuing press releases. We are saying to the Honorable Prime Minister, this is an extremely important matter. Make yourself available to the press and to the people of Trinidad and Tobago so you can be questioned, just as we are offering ourselves to be questioned, so we can get some clarity and we can be sure that this document, this press release that was put out, and everything that was stated there, that you can be questioned on it.
I want to ask, considering the extreme importance that this scenario weighs and carries, this statement coming from the Prime Minister would have been issued around 6 p.m. or so on Saturday evening. It's around 1 p.m. that this press conference was called. Some people are wondering why it took the opposition this long to comment on an issue of this magnitude.
Well, I don't know that we took long to comment. As a matter of fact, yesterday in Arima, Senator the Honorable Amy Brown spoke to the press. They might not have had a lot of media present to ask him those questions. Now, yes, it is always very convenient, similar to what the Prime Minister is doing, to send out a press release. Because it's very easy to send out a press release, but it's not easy to bring yourself here in the presence of the media and make yourself accountable and for the media to ask you questions. So I don't accept the fact that that is a long time. What is important is our willingness to come before the media, to come before the public, and make ourselves available for any question that the press puts to us. So it, yes, sure. No, come, we can come right ahead.
And just to add to that, Leader, that is exactly how we operated in government as well.
Yes.
So you have a direct comparison.
Anything, let me see, Amy?
Just with respect to the question of consultation with CARICOM, I think this is not the first time, but it's the clearest example of the disregard this UNC government has for CARICOM. You'd have seen a few comments previously. The absence of the Prime Minister from the heads of government, her first opportunity to participate and reintroduce herself. There are a number of new heads within the region at that meeting in Jamaica. She absented herself and sent 2 first-term novice ministers to represent Trinidad and Tobago at that particular event. You'd also recall the first opportunity for the Minister of Foreign Affairs to present himself at COFCO. They also decided not to attend that as well. So the signals to CARICOM have been very poor. This comes on the backs of their comments about TNT is not an ATM machine. And these things, while there may be short memories here, I could tell you in the region, memories are not short. So every opportunity this government would have to shed itself of that burden and the stigma of their horrible comments of the past, they should take it. And I certainly endorse the leader of the opposition in her recommendation that the Prime Minister get off of her chair or wherever she might be and go to the UN General Assembly, but don't go there and represent this country in the way that this did, represent properly consistent with our heritage and our legacy in punching above our weight class in international affairs and having a voice, an authentic Trinidad and Tobago and Caribbean voice of our own, not just echoing voices from elsewhere. So.
Honorable MP Young, you would have spoken about the EMBD matter. To my recollection, in December 9th, 2024, they were supposed to submit their defense, and they didn't.
Okay.
So, based on my following this matter, I have recognized that this EMBD case is appearing as though it's going to fall apart.
Well, which is why we as a responsible opposition came forward today to just bring it back into the public's view and attention. If deadlines have been missed for the filing of defenses, that is in fact a very, very serious breach. And the state, through EMBD, would be within its right to take certain actions to seek judgment in default of defense and these types of things. It has been a long time. Those proceedings were filed either in 2017, if I remember correctly. So there's been sufficient time for people to file defenses. From what I recall seeing, there's amended statements of claim that have very, very damning accusation based on evidence of money flows and money flows to certain people and the use of cell phones and text messages. So you, the media, joining on the heels of the leader of the opposition, follow up with those who are responsible, but let us make sure that the Attorney General's office or EMBD itself does not just let this matter disappear or sweep it under the carpet.
I wanted to ask Senator Amy Brown. In 2019, the United National Congress would have supported Guaido as the favorable president for Venezuela. They never retracted that. So, to me, I'm not surprised at the position that the Prime Minister has taken. What's your view on that?
Well, you're right. This is not the first reckless adventure that the UNC has embarked upon. This time, unfortunately, they are in the government and the cabinet of this country. So their pronouncements carry greater weight and import for the people of this country and the region. Your reference when they were in opposition and made an absurd decision to give support to a gentleman by the name of Juan Guaido as president of Venezuela, when there was no international support. The United Nations was very clear as to who would sit and represent Venezuela at that time. That decision did not stand the test of time. Mr. Guaido, as far as we're aware, is no longer a part of the active political process in Caracas. I don't know if the UNC has ever retracted that position, so maybe they still hold that view. But the point of the matter is principles. When you stand on principles, as former Prime Minister Rowley advised me on day one in office, when you stand on principles, your decisions will stand the test of time and the examination of history. When you operate based on convenience or you're trying to echo pronouncements from another capital, your decisions will fall apart the way that decision of the UNC has fallen into the dust of time. So it's a lesson if they are willing to learn from their mistakes, but clearly from the output on Saturday evening at, was it 6 p.m., those lessons are not being learned. It's very unfortunate. This is a long chronicle of unfortunate decisions that have implications. There will have to be work done in the future under Prime Minister Beckles-Robinson to repair the damage being done to CARICOM and the brand of Trinidad and Tobago right now. And just to Ms. Polo, it's not just the People's National Movement and this opposition that is cautioning the government. And you're right, they're experts in this country, across the region, leading voices in foreign affairs, even former members of her own cabinet. I was quite surprised, pleasantly surprised, former Attorney General Gavin Nicholas, who doesn't often fall on the same page as the PNM at all, speaking with very clear voice, and again, not attacking the Prime Minister. We're not attacking her for attacking her sake, but sounding a clear voice of wisdom and caution that the government is going down the wrong road, and alerting the population that there are implications. This is not a movie we're looking at. There are implications if wars or conflict is to break out, and if Trinidad and Tobago is being drawn in the way we are pulling ourselves in, it appears. And I saw some very wise words of caution from him. I saw former Minister Cadiz and several others. So this is a case where, just like with the independence, the cancellation of the parade, voices, stakeholders right across the society of Trinidad and Tobago, this early in the term of a new government, are speaking up very clearly. I think that's a good sign for democracy.
Okay, so that's last question, please. Yes.
I'm seeing when People's National Movement is having an event on the 30th.
Yes, you actually stole my thunder.
Well,
I was just going to close to say yes that we are having an event on Independence Day Eve. Yes, well, we'll be having it, just at City Hall in the area of Woodford Square, and we are inviting everyone to come so we can celebrate. Of course, the Prime Minister dared me to have a parade. It's not about a parade. We are having an event to recognize the importance of our anniversary. And we are inviting everyone to come. And of course, tomorrow we have our public meeting in Laventille. Is it Mova Laventille? Yeah, Mova Laventille. The Member of Parliament, Birchwood, in his constituency, where you will hear a little more in terms of some of the issues that was raised today.
What could we expect that event on the 30th when silent fireworks? So what is going to be looking forward to?
Oh, Nian, you want to come and talk about it? Sure. Since Nian is the person who's spearheading.
Good afternoon, everyone. We don't want to steal too much thunder, but we are aiming to have a really wonderful event that involves elements of a procession, a light show. So we're asking persons to come with your cell phones charged. It really is a solemn event. It's not a party. It is a solemn event that is educational as well, and we're asking people to bring their children and their families, because it really is to ensure that we understand the importance of this commemoration. It's not about, just enjoying the cultural parts of it, even though we are going to have some aspects of culture, some dance, of course the national instrument, the steel pan, and some cultural and national street food that we will have provided for the public. However, it really is about the importance of independence, the history of independence, and so it's going to have some aspects of those things melded together in a very enjoyable experience. So we ask